So, the first thing that stands out in my mind pertaining to my decision to write the book about Thuy's life is my love for Power Rangers. I've always loved Power Rangers my whole life. My earliest memories consist of sitting at the foot of my mom's bed at 5, 6 in the morning watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, it is the most fundamental thing in my childhood development. My interest in martial arts, Bruce Lee, anime, Japan, all the different aspects of Eastern culture, even my study of Eastern philosophy, Sun Tzu's Art of War, Tao Te Ching, Confucian Analects, the Great Learning Doctrine of the Mean. I can trace all of this back to Power Rangers, which is the result of the medium of tokusatsu in Japan. You know, they took the Super Sentai footage and brought it over here and then added the American high schoolers to create Power Rangers. So that would be that's the first thing that stands out in my mind. The second thing that stands out in my mind is the interview where Thuy describes her voyage to America, her journey to the United States. Thuy came to America 5 years after the end of the Vietnam War. Her dad served in the Southern Army. He had to leave them behind in Vietnam in 75. I was just watching the Last Days in Vietnam documentary. I started watching it yesterday and I was trying to finish it just now. I had to turn it off, bro. I had to turn it off because I couldn't quit sobbing. I couldn't quit fucking sobbing, bro. I had to fucking turn it off. You know, everyone has seen the pictures or some footage here and there, or you've seen Full Metal Jacket. So you assume that you know about the Vietnam War. But you don't. You don't know about the Vietnam War. You don't know what happened. You don't. When it comes to the Vietnam War, I've researched different stuff that's, you know, I've seen horrendous footage from war zones and shit on the internet over the years. You know, documentaries that are horrendous and shocking. I've seen it all. But when it comes to the Vietnam War, bruh, you get to a point where there's only so much you can absorb. When I read Mark Baker's book on Nam, I only read half. You'd read 3 or 4 pages and it would describe something so absolutely fucking atrocious that you would just close the book, come back to it later. I got about halfway through and just, you know, set it aside. And it wasn't a thing like, I can't read this anymore, and I threw it on the ground. It wasn't nothing like that. It was more so just like, oh, I'll get back to it later. And then later never came. I never went and picked that book back up. You know what I'm saying? It was the same with this documentary. I couldn't watch anymore. It was a mix of emotions. I was feeling sorrow, grief, but hearing the stories of the different people that worked at the U.S. Embassy, the American employees in the State Department, and the different military forces and the Marines and the Navy who were helping people escape once they finally started evacuating Saigon on the last fucking day. Let me explain to you what the fuck happened in Saigon, bro. In 1973, they did the peace treaty, the Paris Peace Accords. The treaty said that if the North Vietnamese army re-engaged the South, the U.S. would re-enter the war. This is when Nixon was still president. North Vietnam was terrified of Nixon. He was a corrupt fucking warlord. With good reason, they were fucking scared of him. So they do the peace treaty in 73. Once that peace treaty went into effect, they start pulling out troops. They start pulling out U.S. resources, right? The South Vietnamese army is allied with America against North Vietnam, who are communists. So anyone allied with the U.S. as their, I'll get to that. So in 74, Nixon had to fucking resign because the Watergate shit, right? The corruption, the fucking tape on the door, all that shit, the Watergate shit, he had to fucking resign, bro. When Nixon resigned, I just got the chills. When Nixon resigned, the North re-engaged. They fucking re-engage, bro. Re-engage. They fucking re-engage, bro. And they start making their way south towards Saigon. Saigon was unaffected by the war in terms of combat. There was no combat in Saigon, bro. Saigon was where you could go chill. The fucking soldiers there could go chill in Saigon, bruh. It was totally normal there, the whole fucking war. Until fucking the North re-engaged. They're coming farther and farther south towards Saigon. Fuck is this dog outside at like 4 a.m.? Fuck. They're coming farther and farther south towards Saigon, bruh. The fucking U.S. Embassy, they know that this shit is going nowhere fast. The fucking ambassador, the U.S. ambassador that was in charge of the embassy, bro, he fucked this whole situation, bruh. He had this vendetta because his son died in the fucking war effort. He just wouldn't let go of the fact that America was not going to win the Vietnam War, that they were not going to defeat North Vietnam. He just would not let that shit go, bruh. They should have started evacuation weeks before they did. They did not start evacuating until the fucking last day, bro. President Ford didn't issue this shit until the last fucking day, April 29th. The war ended on April 30th. Nigga, they told them you have 24 hours to get all U.S. forces out of Vietnam. Bruh, do you know how many fucking South Vietnamese people were there? But that wasn't part of it. That's the thing. That wasn't part of it. It was pulling out you. They would not do the fucking evacuation. They had 4 options of the evacuation. They could have been getting people out on planes. They could have been getting people out on boats from the Saigon River before the North Vietnamese troops reached Saigon. They could have been evacuating people, bro. They didn't. They fucking didn't. They had to go with what's called option 4, which was literally helicopter evacuations to the aircraft carriers at sea. Bro, you can only fit 15 to 20 people in a fucking helicopter, and they're not that fast, and there's tens of thousands of fucking people. Bro. And the fucking North Vietnamese troops, they're killing anyone in South Vietnam, bro. They're lining them up and killing them by the thousands because they're considered anti-communists because they're allied with the U.S., So these motherfuckers waited until the fucking whole airstrip was destroyed by fucking mortars and they couldn't go. And even then, the U.S. ambassador, he literally said, take me there. I was surprised. He actually drove up to see the airport destroyed as it's getting hit with mortar shells. Then he finally said, we have to evacuate. Finally. And then President Ford still didn't want to give the orders. So, bruh, before that, people in the fucking U.S. Embassy department, they had to start evacuating their friends because they were there. This war went on for 2 decades, from 55 to 75. I keep getting the chills talking about this shit, bro, because people don't understand this shit. The people in the U.S. Embassy that were working over there, the Americans, they started evacuating their friends and their families, bro. The people they knew in Vietnam that had become their friends that they worked with and shit, they started helping them escape. Doing black operation. It's called a black operation. They were having to go behind the government's back. Motherfuckers were getting fired, bro. High-ups were getting fired because they're evacuating people to the Philippines and shit. They're helping their friends get out because the rules of engagement was all South Vietnamese have to stand and fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the rules of engagement. The government doesn't really give a fuck. if those people get out. Oh, we lost the war. We gotta pull out. These people are fucked. But of course you have real people over there, so that there's fucking troops, the Marines, the Navy, the U.S. Embassy, the people high up. Those are the motherfuckers who are stalling. But the people who actually work there, these are real people. They're helping people. They're helping people get out. So it's like this odd mix of emotions when you're watching this last days of Vietnam shit, because it's like, bro, you're seeing the humanity. You're seeing the fucking love, but you're also seeing the horror, the panic, the fear. Like the Fall of Saigon, bro. I didn't even get to the end of the doc yet. I'm gonna finish it, but fuck, bro. I'm sitting here sobbing to myself quietly for like 20 minutes. Like, fuck. And then after 24 hours, it was a wrap. Anyone who couldn't get on the planes, anyone who couldn't escape, anyone who couldn't get on the helicopters, like, I can't even tell you all the different stories. You got to just go watch the doc. But this is what Thuy Trang, she was born into the fucking heart of the war conflict, bro. She was born into the last days of the Fall of Saigon. Fear and Loathing in the Last Days of Saigon, bro. Hunter S. And that's when fucking Hunter S. Thompson went over there, bro. Hunter S., he's getting off a plane as all the journalists are getting onto planes as Saigon is about to fall. He was over there in the evacuation. That's when he was fucking there. Rolling Stone wanted him to write Fear and Loathing in the Last Days of Saigon because they pushed on him so hard he didn't even write that shit. Eventually they published the shit he wrote about Nam. Later, I don't even think it was through Rolling Stone. He didn't even write the story for them. The fucking head chick, if you listen to Gonzo Tape 5, the chick in charge at Rolling Stone, she's like, Hunter, just write Last Days of Saigon. It's gonna fall. You don't have to wait for it to fall. It's gonna fall. They know it's gonna fall. Go over there, take your notes, and write Fear and Loathing in the Last Days of Saigon. These motherfuckers don't give a fuck, but there's people who do give a fuck. So, you know, initially, I thought this was just going to be a book about Thuy and she was the Yellow Power Ranger. But now I see that it's far more than that. It's far more than that. Thuy was born out of one of the most horrific war conflicts we've ever seen in modern history. And she walked a journey to stardom and became an icon. And that's what she is. And her story will be told here at Total Shock Fiction.
Total Shock Fiction.
He sent them all a postcard. On the front of that postcard, he identified himself as a high priest of the mysteries. We'll stop reading your newsletter or your newspaper because all they have to do is check must publish only documented fact. Documented fact.
Documented fact.
Biggest misconceptions in this country. What it is that we're all looking for.
My new book,
Mr. Shock's Box of Blood Clots,
is the most important and ultimate conspiracy theory manifesto written in the last 35 years.
35 years.
Callback books like None Dare Call It a Conspiracy and Behold the Pale Horse.
The Pale Horse.
Do you want to know
who the Illuminati really is?
Find out.
Get the book.
Total Shock Entertainment.